John,
Angie,
so you and I have talked so much about so many things regarding business, coaching, having a coaching business. Have you ever considered hiring in a consultant or an expert to guide you?
not just considered it, I've done it.
Say something new I learned about John today. Well, let's get to it and talk about it in today's episode.
Let's open the clinic.
Welcome to the Coaching Clinic with John and Angie.
The show for professional coaches who want to develop their skills and grow their business.
Follow the show on your favorite podcast app.
And join us every Wednesday for new episodes.
So, Angie, tell me, is this something you've done? Have you hired a consultant to help you with your business before?
No, you know what? Not specifically. I mean, I definitely, I've worked with a coach for many years and, he kind of worked as a more of a business coach. But, interestingly, when I reflect, it wasn't like, hey, let's help you set up your business. It was, what are you avoiding? So it really was an interesting, I guess now that I'm looking back, like a dynamic, but it was not specific to, hey, how do we get you more clients or set you up for success or. It was really none of that, being honest. But you now have, you know, finally let the cat out of the bag that you have. So what did that look like? I'm
Yeah.
super curious. Yeah.
No, not only have I continue to do so. There are particular people I look to learn the stuff. Here's something important to get up front, because I've actually been thinking about this recently. So it's interesting that you suggested this for our episode today. But I do have this take of a lot of the problems that we have in business are actually problems with the business, and in coaching and in professional speaking, the areas where we
Yeah.
work and live in. A lot of us tend to focus on the bit that we have the most control and knowledge over, which is the coaching part or the speaking part of the stuff that you actually do in
Oh,
delivery. This is why, like in speaking, so many people end up like, oh, I just need to tell better stories. I get a speaking coach, or I just need to have more charisma on stage. I get a coach for that. People do it with their coaching as well. I just need a coach. You have to be coached to be a coach. You kind of need some specific stuff. The chances are that if you're having some problems with your business, the problem is in the business elements of that business. And if you're not clearly able to identify them, like when you're in
yeah.
when you're in the game, it's very hard to see the whole playing field. And this is one of the reasons why we need the coaching, the guide, the external eyes. But when you're kind of in the fog of everything, or you're not really seeing where you even need to be, like in a game of football, or soccer, I should say, for our American listeners. But
Sure.
if you can't
Yeah.
even see where the goal is, you're not going to hit it. So you need to be able to see that, and you need to be able to figure out a path to getting to that, and whoever's
Yeah.
going to be able to help you get closer to it as well. And that's why I think it's always important to look for the right mentors and guides, the people who have done it or show that, hey, look, if this is the result you're looking to get, I can help you get that. And if I don't, maybe they have some sort of guarantee to help you get that as well. That's kind of what you really
Sure.
need to look for. You need to de-risk that sort of work for yourself,
Yeah.
and hire someone who actually says they can help you with a specific outcome. And then it's on you to do the work.
Yeah, I think that, unfortunately, like all of that is all true. And I think what happens is we cherry pick, oh, I need somebody to build a website, for example, or I need somebody to build this or do this. Hopefully you're doing that. Hopefully you're not trying to become like a tech guru and, create, although now with AI it's much easier than when you and I were fumbling through ancillary administrative work, and that's important, of course. And what we've talked about, like, should you have an assistant or some type of person to handle ancillary but necessary components. But here's the thing that made this pop up for me, which is interesting. I have a high level client, yours, that is transitioning out of being he's a high level person that was in a specific industry, and now he's transitioning into a different industry, a completely, it's somewhat related to what his knowledge base was, right, previously, but the businesses are different. And he's fumbling a little bit. He's like, you know what? I'm feeling a little incompetent. I'm feeling a little like I'm procrastinating. I'm feeling lack of productivity, because he's kind of like, wait a minute, I don't really know how to set up this business for success. And he's consulting with me. He and his partner are consulting with me. And it was just interesting that when I sat and I reflected on that conversation, I thought, isn't it funny? This person has been in business. He's, retired out from the original industry, basically. And so 40 years in that industry, and now is kind of, again, segueing into something else because, he doesn't want to not work or create, he wants to create legacy for the family, etc. So, and it is close, they're closely related, but it was just interesting that somebody who owned a business for 40 years is kind of struggling and saying, well, what do I do here? So anyway, even though he's not transitioning into a coaching business, what I have experienced with clients, and I'm sure you have as well, is sometimes people do leave an industry or profession and become coaches because they feel they have the expertise. And there's this assumption, I think, that, well, I owned one business or I've worked for a large corporation. I can do this. I know how. And we don't know what, to your point, we really don't know what we don't know. And it can cost us time and energy. Unfortunately, before people consider a consultant, and I mean the overarching, not the webmaster or somebody like that, right? Where it's like, oh, who's going to do printing for me if I print out a business card? Just saying. But they wait until it becomes urgent / emergent, like, oh, it's been 8 months. I don't have any clients and my resources are running low. Now what? And maybe then, is it time, right? You have to decide, is it time to kind of go into that space and say, maybe I should hire a professional to consult, take a look at what I've created and redirect me. I'm a big fan, like, yes, but you've done it, I haven't in that capacity. So even if your business is going well, is it still worthwhile? I certainly think it's like coaching. I can only see what I see. So if somebody can come in with a fresh set of eyes that isn't John, right, that I can ask and say, hey, what do you think? Or what should I do to amplify or elevate? I think it's worth it. I think it could be at the beginning, right? When you're just starting out, very valuable. It shouldn't be when when the alarms are sounding. And it can be also even when things are going well. What can we do better? How can we expand? What got us here won't get us there. I think there's some real value. But to something you said, can somebody help us? Yes, but I would be very curious as to their track record. Because if you look, everyone's an expert, right? Go on any social or Google, and it's like, oh, this one's sponsored, sponsored, sponsored. You have to go like layers deep before you even find potentially, right? Somebody that could actually help.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of the best people are some of the best kept secrets, unfortunately. But then sometimes that's intentional as well. Like sometimes there's people that, well, I just want to work with people and want to be referred and recommended rather than building anything up. That is how some people choose to work. Um,
Yeah,
but there is a difference. I mean, look, at any point in your progression, or any point where you're actually working and doing stuff, having a coach is going to be helpful. Having someone you can consult with is going to be helpful. Having a mentor is going to be helpful. But sometimes those things are in seasons, like particularly mentors. We don't need necessarily a mentor all of the time. And there may come a time when we're sort of kind of at the top of the tree. Well, who's going to mentor you then? And then we really are looking more for consultants, advisors,
yeah, yeah,
people who are going to be real with you. But if you are at the point where it's like the stuff that you don't know, but somebody has trodden that path before you and done it successfully, so you
yeah.
do need to know their track record. It's very different to a coaching situation. And coaching is like, well, the answers are within you, or we do ontological coaching. But sometimes you actually do need someone to say, you know what, the path you're on right now isn't going to really work, or it's not going to work fast enough for you. Here's
Sure.
what you need to try, or here's what you should be doing, or
Yeah,
here's what's working in the industry right now. And if you are hiring somebody who doesn't actually have that insight, or is one of the sort of, oh, well, I'll just get AI to help me, and people will think that I know everything, it won't. It will become apparent. You'll become unstuck. AI is not that thing. AI is not your mentor. It doesn't
correct.
have real world experience either. You need somebody who's in the game, who can actually
Absolutely. I think
give you
finding
some next
somebody.
steps.
Absolutely. I think, and you know me, I mean, if anybody knows me, I don't love being told what to do. So, but in that case, I would be very I'm being very transparent. If I believed and I vetted somebody and I believed that they had the expertise that I do not, they could Pied Piper me over a cliff probably, but I would be very interested in illuminating what I've been missing over a period of time. I have no interest in slowing down. And most people that come into the coaching space, I don't know. I think, some people might want a really big, successful, what does that look like? And some people are like, hey, it's just me and I want to keep it manageable. Either way, I think that there are professionals out there. And hey, if any of you are listening, we'd love to have you on the show because we'd love to, maybe you could
Yeah,
share some
for
highlights
sure.
of specific, hey, these are some really, top 5 tangibles that I think people should do coming out of the gate. Not to give away their trade secrets, I'm just saying, but, you know, have that opportunity to kind of diagnostically look at our business structure and see where it's really working and where it could improve, honestly, and where it's not. I mean, if you're not where you want to be, something is not working well. And when we're in it, it's like you said, we're on the playing field. It's very different than, watching from the stands and saying, oh, I saw the whole field. It's very difficult to do that, but certainly worthwhile. I think I convinced myself today.
Look, when I got my NLP Master Practitioner certification, one of the many certificates they gave me was business consultant. I don't think that was actually a sufficient qualification to go out into the world and be a business consultant. So I wouldn't
Sure.
accept that from somebody else. But it's not even necessarily about having somebody else tell you what to do. It's having the person who can give you the right kind of pushback, who can challenge
Absolutely.
you in the positive ways and say, you know what, I'm not 100% convinced by this path you're on. Let's look at some other
Yeah.
options, or here's what's
Yeah.
before. It's not telling you what to do. We're just saying, you know what, this maybe isn't as good as ChatGPT told you it was. That ChatGPT has been kissing
Absolutely.
your ass and is telling you that you're amazing, but actually
Yeah.
this isn't going to work. It is having that person who can, actually have some kind of relationship with them and they actually know what they're talking about. It is a different kind of relationship to be able to tell you that's going to work or that's probably not going to work. Go ahead and try it if you want to, but if you want something that has a bit more reliability, this is what I would recommend. You still have your choices. You still have your own path to
Absolutely.
take, but
Yes.
you have guidance from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. I think that's worth a fortune, and it could shortcut your journey to bigger results immensely, immensely. So yeah,
Yeah,
huge value
I
for me.
think
If you can do
it
it, do
does.
it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it is something that I'm going to look into next because not that we're fumbling our way through, you or I, just as examples, folks. And we're not saying that, John and I are like, oh, we're the gurus of all things. That's not it. But I think it would be
If
very
only.
worth me kind of just going through that process, investing or reinvesting in my business and saying, hey, you're an expert. Show me, expose what I cannot see from that perspective and build some trust because who knows what I'm missing? I know there are things out there that I'm missing and I'm, a 10-year, just like you, right? I hours wise, I'm considered a master coach. So but that doesn't mean I'm a master business owner. So, we've talked about that. We've delineated there, but I definitely think it's
Exactly
super
right.
worthwhile, no matter how long you've been a coach,
I would
especially,
encourage.
yeah, do it.
I would encourage any of our listeners to go and check that stuff out.
Yeah,
Angie, we need to shut the doors on the coaching clinic for this episode, but I think that's a really important thing we brought up, and who knows what we'll be talking about next time.
curious. I hope that people reach out and say, hey, I'm a consultant. I'd love to be on the show. Come on in, ring our bell.
Drop us a line. Yeah, drop us a line.
Do you have a question for the coaching clinic?
Reach out on LinkedIn to connect with Angie and John.
Leave us a voicemail or video message and we will feature you on the show.
You can also leave up to 90-second voicemail for free on www.speakpipe.com/the Coaching Clinic podcast.
We'd love to hear from you.
See you next time.
Bye for now.